Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Wrestling Challenge Review Series for the 8th of August, 1993. And again, we are trying to foray through these. Also, going to start a WWF House Show series, MSG's Boston Garden, all that kind of stuff through the network because I enjoy. Matter of fact, that's probably one of my favorite things in wrestling is the full house show cards. Just an interesting foray into looking at wrestling as opposed to, a bunch of matches with very little psychology like they have today. Matches that have psychology but are longer, competitive matches worth taking a look at. And so, certainly something worth taking a peek at there from that perspective. And for most people, there is a kind of I guess you'd say, a desire to, connect on a deeper level with a sense of purpose around all of that. Anyway, as mentioned, this is the August 8th edition of the Wrestling Challenge process here. Doink the Clown is a major portion of this opening, or no, I guess not the opening program, but the opening match anyway. And of course, Doink going into matches with Bret Hart at SummerSlam and kind of stacking things there. Anyhow, Doink the Clown pinning Tony Dinero, 242 whoopee cushion. Prior to the bout, Doink rode to the ring on a unicycle, adding up the, I guess you'd say, the whole concert thing in any way. So, they are announcing here that special report segment shown last week, the match between Sensational Sherry and Luna Vachon from Superstars and Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka getting involved, and the announcement of Bigelow and teaming with the Head Shrinkers to face Tatanka and Smoking Guns at SummerSlam. Also featuring the announcement the 1-2-3 Kid would face IRS at SummerSlam, and Ramon would face Ted DiBiase, including an updated version of the WrestleMania music video from WrestleMania the album featuring Who is Lex Luger vignette, and Luger discusses his athletic endeavors. As mentioned, the Doink the Clown deal with Tony Dinero, 242, very basic match. Doink hits a inverted suplex, among other things, and super basic things along the way as we foray into processes here. Overall, very basic things going forward, and managing to connect in that way. Doink hits the top rope whoopee cushion, bombs away splash, and gets a victory there. We move to Marty Jannetty and Reno Riggins after the special report deal. And again, at this time and for what it's worth, certainly there are a good deal of, I guess you'd say, matches that most people aren't necessarily fully into on these squash shows. And of course, Tatanka wanting Bigelow one-on-one. They carry that match into Royal Rumble 94. They're pretty aggressive with their feud at the time, and ultimately kind of a process here. Jannetty, though, managing to go after Reno Riggins. Jannetty having had that really decent match with Mr. Hughes coming off of things here. And, that is a pretty major deal. Riggins has done some work in Smoky Mountain, did some work in the USWA area, and managing to do a good bit of enhancement matches during the early 90s. Jannetty, leapfrogs, side headlocks, basic maneuvers there, and ultimately trying to get some semblance of goodness. Marty Jannetty hits the rocker dropper and gets the victory going forward. Again, the upcoming cage match, Bret Hart and Yokozuna steel cage at the Garden. They say first time in 2 years. Bret continues to lament that he thinks he's going to be the world's champion yet again. That actually, of course, does not happen, but Brett certainly believing it at the time, or putting forth promos that give the impression he does anyway. Ultimately, then we go to Mr. Hughes, managing to square down, pair down with his adversary, and doing what he can where he can. And Hughes taking on an enhancement talent here, still doing the foray into the desire to get rid of The Undertaker. Hughes facing off against an enhancement talent, that talent happening to be, let's just take a look here. Mr. Hughes with Harvey Wolferman feeding Dave Thornbridge, 227, Sidewalk Slam. During the bout, a black wreath is brought to ringside, and Hughes destroys that after the match. Sidewalk Slam is the main finish for Mr. Hughes at the time, getting away from the modified choke slam. Also, we go to the Steiner Brothers, the tag team champions, defeating the Executioners, 3 minutes, 33 seconds. Scott pinning one of the Executioners, which they are a masked team. I believe Barry Hardy and Dwayne Gill are under the masks at the time, and they are pretty persistent with their foray into kind of challenging things a little bit in terms of higher quality enhancement talent work there. And then we move to, obviously, modified suplexes and all of that from the Steiner Brothers. Steiner Brothers, was Rick Steiner also hitting a Steiner line. Other basic maneuvers leading to, I guess you'd say, some victory stuff there. And ultimately, we kind of move forward into the Steiner Brothers getting ready for their feud with the Quebecers in the next few months. Steiner Brothers SummerSlam 93, though, managing to have what I consider one of the best tag team matches of the 90s in the Heavenly Bodies match. Also, they are talking about Jerry Lawler facing off against his adversary at SummerSlam, Bret Hart, getting that SummerSlam deal ready. And again, going back to the highlights of Ted DiBiase and the 1-2-3 Kid, DiBiase getting beaten by the Kid earlier as part of the SummerSlam, and basically Razor Ramon saying that he is going to get rid of Ted DiBiase Moneybags. This is going into DiBiase's final wrestling match, as it were, as he got injured in Japan a little bit before and manages to injure his neck and go home and all of that. So then we move to continuation of the various options available. Lex Luger talks about not doing steroids. Says that is not his thing. Says that he is a honorable person. He says he is a top-level athlete. He also says that he is played football. I believe he said baseball and a couple other sports. Luger, with this, trying to make him seem more human, almost a 60-minute style deal there, but doesn't really come across all that well. Shawn Michaels is up next in an enhancement match here. Michaels, of course, your Intercontinental Champion coming into SummerSlam, and he's, of course, with Diesel defeating Glenn Ruth, a.k.a. one of the headbangers. Michaels uses both a super kick and a pile driver to eliminate his adversary from competition, active competition, as it were. And he does not seem the least bit concerned with how all that comes across by any stretch of the imagination. So we continue to move forward into the, slide through the ropes, gets the flying forearm and the super kick and the pile driver for Michaels. Michaels switching to the pile driver for most of 93 into the beginning of 94. Doesn't fully choose the super kick as a full-time finish till the babyface turn in 95. So, in any event, we will continue right after this.